The NBA preseason has started, which means that the NBA regular season is right around the corner, and I know every one of my subscribers, everyone who's watching this video, is highly excited. And every NBA season has its own set of NBA awards. Now, I'm not gonna do an award prediction for every single award, but the MVP is always an interesting conversation. I know it's only a regular season award, but for the most part, the conversation itself really is catered to appreciate the amazing individual performance we see throughout the season, which is great. I know we say nothing really matters until the NBA playoffs, but man, we're about to see 82 games from every single team in a 30-team league. There is no way none of those games count. There's just no way. And like I said, the MVP discussion, let alone the award, is really catered to appreciate the greatness that we see on pretty much a daily basis. But before we talk about my prediction when it comes to the MVP award, let's go ahead and shout out the sponsors of this video, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that gets tickets from all over the web and puts them on one app so you can get the best deals for whatever event you want to go to. They put all the tickets on a color-coded map, the best deals marked with a green dot and the worst ones marked with red. They have filters that help you shop when you do. And thanks to SeatGeek, you can use the code BSOULS to get $20 off your first purchase. Once again, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. So the NBA changed a lot this offseason, and with all those changes, the NBA landscape continues to evolve over time. Kyrie Irving went to the Brooklyn Nets, Anthony Davis got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, Kawhi and PG ended up in LA as well, but for the Clippers. The Warriors got D'Angelo Russell, but lost Klay Thompson for the majority of the season, and KD in the offseason as well. And that's not even all of it. Russell Westbrook to the Rockets, Kemba Walker to the Celtics. The NBA landscape has changed a lot. Now, how does this relate to the MVP discussion? Now, if you're a longtime subscriber of this channel, you know why I talk about the MVP discussion a lot. I pretty much make like 3 to 4 videos about it every single year, and most of the time, if not all the time, I always end up showing this graphic on the screen right now. Now, I don't think I've updated it to include Giannis's MVP campaign last year, but pretty much what it talks about, what it conveys, is that ever since the inception of the award, a majority of the time, literally 90, 88+% of the time, the MVP award has a criteria. Now, technically, there isn't, right? When you look at the NBA rulebook, there is no criteria for the MVP award that players have to meet. It is technically an award given on an individual season basis. But when we look at precedents and patterns over time and over the decades, you can clearly see that there is a criteria based on precedence. That being a player who led their team to a top 4 record in the league and put up ridiculous numbers. And with the new NBA landscape and how teams are constructed and the hierarchy of players and teams and, all of those factors, some players are in better position than others to fill this criteria. And to me, going into the season, there are 6 main candidates for the MVP award. Those being Stephen Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard. Now, originally for this video, I was thinking of doing like a, process of elimination thing, going over every single player's case. But I feel like for length's sake, right, I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. I have Giannis Antetokounmpo winning the MVP once again. Now, I know that the balance in the NBA is better now, meaning that LeBron and AD being on the same team doesn't affect their MVP chances as much as it did with Steph and KD the past couple of years. I mean, you guys remember the conversation. We literally were talking about how Steph and KD would never win an award because their team is too stacked, and inevitably, they didn't. And what I'm about to say, the way I word it may sound confusing, but hear me out. The MVP has always favored players who can put up ridiculous numbers and win at the same rate as teams who are better than the team that the player is on. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here is, let's take 2 players, right? Player A and player B. Player A and player B put up both ridiculous numbers, right? And let's just say both players were on teams that won, let's say, 55 games. However, player A led his team to as much wins as player B with less help. When it comes to the MVP conversation, more often than not, player A will be favored more in the MVP voting than player B. Take for example the 2001 MVP race. In this race, we had the Philadelphia 76ers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the San Antonio Spurs with roughly around the same record. The 76ers had Allen Iverson, the Spurs had Tim Duncan, and the Lakers had Shaq and Kobe. When you look at it in a vacuum, those four players technically fit the criteria I was talking about. All four players put up ridiculous numbers and led their team to a top 4 record in the league. But because Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson did not have the luxury of having a Shaq or a Kobe on their team and still put up great numbers and led their teams to just as many wins as the Los Angeles Lakers, they were both favored ahead of both Shaq and Kobe in the MVP voting. Add Allen Iverson's lack of a supporting cast, relatively speaking to those two teams, and his height and the degree of difficulty of what he just did, and there is no question why Allen Iverson won MVP that year. However, if the case was that the Lakers won 67 games, which was far and above everyone else, then most of the time the MVP would go to the best player on the team with the clearly best record in the league, a la the 2000 season, where Shaq won MVP, leading the Lakers to 67 wins, which was 8 more wins than any team in the league. And I am from the belief that the Bucks are still a team capable of winning 55 plus games. Now I know that kind of contradicts my last statement, but just imagine this scenario, and I feel like at this point in the video you might be confused as to where I'm going, but pretty much the scenario I'm about to say is how I think the NBA season will play out. And really, when you look at it, it kind of makes sense as to why Giannis can and will win MVP once again. Let's fast forward to April 2020. The Bucks are the first seed in the East once again, with one of the 3 best records in the league. Can we agree that that's a possibility? I would say most of you guys will say yes. Giannis is still roughly averaging 25 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists on 55% plus from the field, being a defensive juggernaut, putting up numbers that are clearly and undoubtedly worthy of the MVP trophy. So that checks 2 boxes of the criteria talked about at the beginning of the video. But now let's look at the other MVP candidates I mentioned as well. Harden has Russell Westbrook. LeBron James has AD. AD has LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard has Paul George. Steph might not even win enough games to really fit the criteria I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Meanwhile, Giannis has Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez in a system that is heavily reliant on his play. I'm asking you, in April 2020 or even March, why wouldn't that be the narrative going into the NBA playoffs? And why wouldn't that be the narrative that would favor Giannis in getting the MVP award? I ask you, why wouldn't he win again? Giannis doesn't really have MVP fatigue. Many people believe he is a generational talent, possibly a top 15 player of all time talent. Why can't Giannis win back-to-back MVP? I mean, Curry's done it, LeBron's done it, Harden's been a runner-up for the past 4 to 5 years. If Giannis really is on that level of talent, or is on his way there, or is at that level right now, he has the full capability of winning back-to-back MVPs. But I do want to make a disclaimer that these are just my predictions, right? There might be an alternate scenario where LeBron and AD really do lead the Lakers to 60 plus wins, and you can't really deny the greatness of LeBron or AD, and one of them gets the award. I can totally see that. There is another scenario where Kawhi does the same thing, and I wouldn't be mad if he got the MVP award. There's another scenario where Steph puts up Harden-like numbers like last year, and with the system they have in play and Clay coming back, again, they can grab another top 4 record in the league type record, with Curry putting up ridiculous numbers, and he can get the MVP award, and I wouldn't be mad. But in my opinion, the season will play out more similarly to the scenario I said in this video. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think the MVP conversation / award / race will be like throughout the season, because it's always a very interesting conversation. I know it is a regular season award, but the debates and being an NBA junkie, I love being a part of them. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.